Structured responses are your secret weapon when answering interview questions. What do we mean by a structured response when we say you should answer interview questions by using a structured response? Well, it predominantly means two things. It means your response has well-defined and clear sections, and that there are logical flows and connections between those sections. And this is something that's best demonstrated with an example. We're going to consider a conversation between two people, and we're first going to consider an unstructured response to a question. The question is quite simple. Person A asks person B, "What did you eat yesterday?" Person B responds, "Well, for breakfast, I ate some porridge. For lunch, I had a sandwich. Oh, and I also had an apple and some fruit juice for breakfast." Where was I? Oh, yes, for lunch. For lunch, I had a sandwich and some crisps. For dinner, I had a stew. Oh, and I had a chocolate bar before dinner and a banana before lunch. Now this answers the question. But, and it's a big but, the response jumps from meal to meal to meal, back to other meals, and all over the place. It doesn't make it easy for person A to understand what person B actually ate yesterday. Now let's consider a situation where person A asks the question and person B responds with a structured response. What did you eat yesterday? For breakfast, I ate some porridge, an apple, and had a glass of fruit juice. For lunch, I had a sandwich and some crisps. For dinner, I had a stew. I also had a banana as a mid-morning snack and a chocolate bar in the afternoon. This response conveys exactly the same information, but it does it in clearly defined sections. It talks about breakfast, then lunch, then dinner, then snacks. And there also is a connection between these sections because the first three follow the natural chronological order of meals in the day. It's what person A would be expecting because that is the natural order of meals during a day. But also, by providing a response like this, it makes it easy for person A to actually understand what person B ate yesterday, because they don't have to connect many dots together to form the answer. They can clearly see what they had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. So what have we just seen here? Well, we've seen examples of both unstructured responses and a structured response. We've seen that the unstructured response is difficult to follow, and the structured response is easy to follow. Now think about this in the context of an interview. You want to make it easy for the interviewer to understand what you are talking about. By using a structure, you make your response easy to follow. The unstructured response was difficult to remember, whereas a structured response is much easier to remember. And again, in the context of an interview, if you are providing an answer that is easy to remember, when an interviewer comes to make a decision, they can recall your response more effectively than other candidates. And it's also worth noting that the unstructured response took marginally longer than the structured response, which was concise. And again, this is important for interviews because interviews are often time boxed to either a 30-minute or a 60-minute period. And if you can answer your questions concisely, you're going to get more opportunity to answer interview questions or answer follow-up questions that an interviewer may have, giving you more opportunity to present evidence as to why you are suitable for the advertised role. And I guess there's a question to ask at this point, and it's a question we'll pose but won't actually answer. If you had to work with one of these two people, so the person who gave the unstructured response or the person who gave the structured response, Which one do you think would actually be easier to work with? There are many benefits to using structured responses when answering interview questions. We've seen that structured responses are clear and the clarity of response is much better when using a structure. Structured responses also aid your memory recall. If you're recalling events, facts and figures, by following a set structure, you are less likely to forget key events and you know what you have to talk about at a set time in a response. It demonstrates well-organised thinking. It engages the interviewers. It provides timely responses which are concise. And it also shows an element of professionalism by being able to convey complex information in a short period of time. There are several differing structures that can be used to answer the varying types of interview questions. In this test course, we're focusing in on competency-based and ability-based questions, and we'll look at the structures most suited to answering these questions shortly. But remember, structure is your secret weapon when answering interview questions. By using a structure, it makes your responses easy to remember, compelling, and easy to recall.